Well, a very good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Wegasani, and we are here for the European Cricket Network Gibraltar ECS. And it's been a fantastic few weeks of cricket, and we've got another wonderful night in front of us. It will be the Sloggers taking on the Rugby CC. Rugby CC, they have dropped to third position in the tables, so they will be really looking to get a couple of victories tonight to try to chase the Pirates, who managed to storm the beach a couple of times over the previous few days. It is less windy today, believe it or not. Over on the cricket ground, you can't quite feel the sea spray coming in just yet, but we've come out into this wonderful point. You should be able to see the beautiful Mediterranean Sea behind me, or Alborean Sea. And this is going to be the scene of another fantastic night cricket. Now with the Sloggers, well, we've got Brian Zammit. He is in the side, as well as Jawad Bokhari, a very handy all-rounder. So they will be two who will be looking to impress. And then of course for Rugby CC, well, we keep saying it, but Ian Latin, I'll tell you what, in years to come, when there is an MVP medal for cricket in Gibraltar, I think it'll be called the Ian Latin medal. He is only 16 runs short of making it 1,000 runs in this series so far. Just incredible stuff. We can't wait to bring you all the action, and it's coming up right now. Now, before we get to the action, of course, we need to have the coin toss. So let's go to the referee in the middle of the field with our captains. When they do toss the coin, of course, it's very windy. It might blow out to sea. So just in case, I'm going to get to this telescope and have a look in case I can see it.
Welcome to the first game of the evening between the Sloggers and Rugby. Sloggers the home team, Rugby are going to be calling. There's your tails, there's your heads.
Heads.
Heads is a call. Come on. Tails it is.
We're going to have a bat first.
Yes, there we had Tyrone Peters, of course, our match referee out there in the middle, calling the toss, and the Sloggers have won and decided they're going to have a bat. That's right, I'm Joe Wegasani. Here we are at the Europa Sports Complex. It is that time of evening where the night has descended upon us. It's a bit darker. We can have a look there at our team lineups for the FanCode T10 here in Gibraltar. This fixture and some pretty big names there, as I mentioned in the intro. Good to see Brian Zammit out there and Jawad Bokhari, and it'll be really interesting to see how the rest of the lineup go, whether they can give the kind of support that can try to make inroads into this Rugby CC unit. Want to give a big shout out as well. A lot of the Rugby CC players have really been picking up their game. We've seen some great work by the likes of Dave Barley, Harry Pyle, and of course the Duracell Bunny, Zachary Simpson. So it should be a good tight match. The Sloggers, of course, they are languishing a little bit at the bottom of the ladder. And as I mentioned, Rugby CC will be looking to try to retake a bit of ascendancy so that they can come towards the finals day with the prospects of meeting the number one seeds, which are the Antennas at the moment. There we can have a look at our CricBot calculator with the expected score of, well, expecting a Rugby CC victory. Looking to them to put on 101 runs. It's a bit of a calmer night tonight. Well, it was anyway, but it seems it's picked up a little bit, and suddenly that sea mist is coming back in around. It's one of those, seems like a bit of a condition of existence here in Gibraltar at this time of year, at this ground. We just have to get used to the salt descending upon us. No matter though, it's going to be another fantastic night of cricket as the players are just preparing to run out onto the ground. You should start to see them enter from stage left there. Here they come, with our umpires leading the way, and we'll have a look at who is going to take the opening ball. Well, so we're in a bit of a more comfortable position here. We've adjusted the screen so that I'm facing right, getting a bit of protection behind it from the wind coming in there. And a great view. This ground is always such a beautiful one to look at when the lights come on. It's such a well-made stadium. So we'll be very happily watching from the protection of these rafters here above us as these two teams go head-to-head. Can't wait to bring you this action. It is for Rugby CC. It looks like it's going to be Thomas Rummage, who's warming up, ready to take the new nut. A big hello to everybody out there. And no less those who are joining us already on the YouTube, European Cricket Network YouTube chat. Hello to Stephen Kelk. Louis Bruce, he's out there as well. Well, when he's not in the middle, he's sitting there and wishing he was. The fine form that he's been in, it's been a pleasure to watch. And of course, Amanda Hunley, big hello to you. And there's also Richie Cunningham. So I wonder how you guys are feeling being there in the warm confines of your living rooms or wherever you might be watching rather than out there. You're probably the people, Louis Bruce and Richie Cunningham, can exhibit the most amount of empathy for those who are out there today. It's a little bit warmer. It's not quite as cold. Like I mentioned, it is not quite as windy. It's not bustling up a gale. But certainly that sea spray is still a present, a presence out there on the field. So we're just making sure everything is in order and ready. It's going to be Brian Zammit coming out to open. And that will be, of course, along with Christian Navas. Christian Navas, very, very handy cricketer as well. We saw him performing last year. Yeah, Louis Bruce, he's happy to be in the warm at the minute. Well, don't say it too loudly, unless you're looking to play the psychological mind games with your possible opponents in the finals. As it is though, we should be just about ready to go. The umpires are ready, the batters are ready, the bowlers are ready. Let's play some cricket in a moment. Here we go, folks. So a really nice ball to start with, and it's been chipped uppishly down to short third man, but they do communicate very quickly for a quick single. And off the mark straight away, Brian Zammit with that one. We're happy to be at the other end and have a bit of a look at the work of Rummage. So once again, he's getting that line really well, and a big swing, hoisted, cross-batted swipe across the line. Yields nothing but a dot ball. And that one, you can see it really drifting in towards the pads, but well chipped away down there to deep square leg, where after another single has been taken. So not the kind of start that sort of echoes the name of the team batting. Nothing's been slogged as yet, but we're only 2 deliveries in. And there we go. That's a really, really nice shot through the mid-wicket region, and despite the best running efforts of the fielder, it's going to reach the rope. There it is, the first boundary of tonight's play. It's a 4. Brian Zammit just rocks onto the back foot and uses the impetus of his body to really push through the line of that ball. It was a nice clear cricketing stroke. So really good this by Rummage. That line is a great one to start with. He has hit it into the covers, and they were looking for the 2 straight away, but a nice clean pickup has meant that they have only succeeded in the single. So 1 delivery left in this first over. That's right on the money, and a big cross-batted hoik. Well, just gets a little bit of the toe edge of the bat. And that is the end of the first over. So the score is 8 for the loss of no wickets. And we've got a couple of local Gibraltarian future cricketers here, I believe. come in here, lads. Come and say something. Just say a quick hello into the microphone.
Get in, lads. Hello.
There we go. Very, very wise words. So we've got the fans. They're out in force in the stadium as we have a look at the stats gun there. I feel like I was taking a risk asking a couple of young lads to say something into a microphone on a live broadcast, but they did very well. Thank you for keeping any profanities in your mind rather than speaking them out loud. This is going to be Dave Barley now with the new ball, or with the second over, the 2 over old ball. And he gets that in a really good line. It's not being called a wide. It seemed to be right inside the statutes of limitation there. And that's been slogged. Well, that is going a long way. 1 bounce over the rope, 4 runs. Beautiful hitting from Brian Zammit. He picked up that length straight away. And I'm not sure which lads the young boys wanted to get in. But certainly Brian Zammit is doing the job. He's getting right involved. Yeah, we might even have Andy Reyes out there on the chat as well. Big hello. If that is Andy, it's Andy Bocker 8. Of your one-handed catch yesterday, as that one is driven off the back foot to the mid-off region for another single. So it's not going at a snail's pace here. Certainly with a few big shots from Brian Zammit. But Christian Navas doesn't want to get too bogged down here. He gets one on the stumps and manages to make contact and pushes it towards the mid-on region for another single. Really like the work of Dave Barley from what we've seen of him so far. Gets that one right on the money, but Zammit more than up to the task to rock back and just punch it out to Ian Latine down there. Ian Latine, what a story that is. If he makes 16 runs tonight, he will go past, he'll get to 1,000 runs in this series. Can you believe it? That's a shorter one. It's been splayed away right to the man there at extra cover, and he's taken a nice, safe catch. Yes, that was very, very good work. That's Thomas Rummage there. Couldn't quite do the job with the ball in his first over, but he clasped onto that. And Dave Barley isn't he happy? Thank you very much for chalking up my stats. And so the first wicket has gone. That's Christian Navas. Got a little bit of a splice shot, kind of caught between being a drive and a cut shot, and as it was, it popped up, and they'll be pretty happy with that. The Rugby CC, they've been very well led by the likes of Ian Latine and Dave Barley, as I mentioned the other night. A bit of a spiritual leader and very much leading the way vocally. A lot of chat out there, a lot of energy. They've really been concentrating on that. It seems like every Gibraltarian cricketer who's not out there is in the chat. Love to see it. Let us know. Give us your insights. You've been the ones out there playing in these conditions, so without keeping it family friendly, let us know what it's like. As that one drifts down the leg side, and Zammit, he could have left that one go, but did seem to tempt him into the sweep shot, but ended up just trickling it away on the onside. No run taken. And he's been bowled now, Zammit, and he was practicing that sweep shot, and then he went for it, but Thomas rummaged in his bag of tricks, and he's pulled out a wicket, bowled. That's the end of Zammit. So it's a disappointing one because he was looking like his eye was getting in, and unfortunately he has to head back to the pavilion. Yeah, good bowling, just getting in on the money. And the batters we know in this tournament, and you know, hitting as a right-hander, hitting to the leg side, you're going to get that wind and got the chances of picking up or capitalising on your shots a little bit more. But of course, the risk is with that variable bounce, that if the ball is on the target and you miss it, well, they're going to hit. So Andy Bock 8, which I think is Andrew Reyes, give me a bit of confirmation on that, says it's freezing out there. Yep, that's probably a fair comment, but it does look like less spray tonight. It seems to be coming through still, but not in quite the abundance as previously, as that one's been defended away on the offside for no run. It's Bakari who's come out now, and he has joined Joseph Neal, who was the first drop batter. 14 for 2 it is. There's that one. Really good line, just allowing it to drift back in. It's been punched away to point, but some nice, tidy fielding out there. And I think that's Ataloye, who's hiding behind all those clothes. He looks more wrapped up than I am. I think it's been a, well, call this delivery, and that one's just angled away, taking the pad, and will be no run. Yeah, the last few nights they've been, for me, a six layer temperature. So 6 layers on me, and tonight I've got 5. So that's how I'll be measuring the temperature. Once again, beautifully bowled, but really nicely and definitely tapped down. But Bakari set off for a single, and there was the man in short. Didn't have to do much, didn't have to overthink it, just get it back to the keeper. And Joseph Neal has been caught short and run out. The 3rd wicket falls at the end of the 3rd over. Yeah, nice tight throw. And to give you an indicator of the wind being less tonight, well, there's something out on the pitch that we haven't seen for quite a few days. And that's, of course, bales. One of those, you know, usually fundamental aspects of cricket, but of course in the conditions we've had, it has been impossible for them to stay on the stump. So that will give you an indicator that it is a little bit less ferocious tonight. Yeah, the gang's all here. Avinash Pai, he's also in the chat, saying that was going down the leg side for sure. Yeah, well, you don't have to do much for it to go down the leg side in these conditions. As the power play has come to an end, so only the 14 runs off it, 3 wickets down with a run rate of 4.94. So it's going to take something pretty big from Bakari here, and of course his new partner, who by the looks of it is Damien Delgado. Good line, full of ball though, and it was there for the drive, but just caught the inside edge of the bat and ended up being dragged away on the onside, fielded there by Latin, and a single taken. So Roshan in now, and that's really kicked up. It wasn't too short at all, but it just seemed to hit a point, really spat off the turf. And well done there by Harry Pyle. Of course it is behind the stumps. Christian Barber being the wicketkeeper for the Sloggers. Harry Pyle for Rugby CC. And that one somehow has gone the other way. They reckon I think it's taken an edge. And Harry Pyle might have just got a little bit big on him. Nice tidy start here by Roshan. That one, yeah, he seems to be the only bowler who manages to get it to go the other way. He's seems to be keeping quite a nice straight seam. Doesn't Ataloye Adateo look nice and cozy, all wrapped up there. Well, that's gone too far down the leg side, and will be called a wide as such. It's hasn't been too bad. The weather today did threaten a bit of rain as that full of ball's been punched away into the covers. No run taken. As it was fielded very amply there. He's got all the gear on there. I think he agrees with me. It's a 5-layer day today. It's a lawyer. No one's there for the driving, but just takes it the other way. Not called to wide either, so got it right within the limits, and that is the end of the 4th over. So the score, I believe it is the end of the 4th over anyway. They're walking off as if it is. So the score being 17 runs, so might be a little bit of a display in class difference here as these rugby bowlers have really managed to keep the clamps on, taking wickets along the way. We can have a look at the batting scorecard there, and Brian Zammit, he's the only one who's made any headway with those couple of fine boundaries. And a big hello to you in the chat, Aiden Azevedo, watching from South Africa. Just having a big chat about South Africa with our new match referee, Tyrone Peters. Lovely place, beautiful place at all times of the year, but this is a good time indeed to be sitting in and watching some cricket. As that one, well, it was being pushed down the leg side, but the Delgado unable to keep within the line, so that it would be a wide. So it ends up being a dot ball. Adateo now continuing. And he's giving that some air, and that's a big hoisted sweep. Got the back, the top edge, and there's the Duracell bunny. Zachary Simpson, of course, running for everything. He keeps going and going and going. He's just adjusting his field a little bit. It's it is of course the 5th over, so 5 fielders allowed outside the ring. You've got, unusually for cricket here lately, 2 of them are on the offside, so one of them collecting that right now. Thomas Rummage, is it? No, that's the West Australian John Matthews. He's found himself a long way from home to be playing some cricket, that's for sure. And that one, well, he's hit that right up in the air, but it's bounced on the way to the fielder. So well collected, had in, but they did manage to scramble through for a single. So some good running. I will say that about the Sloggers so far, is they haven't let too many singles go past, as that one's been lifted from way outside off, right up in the air. Ian Latin's under it, but he's not going to get to it, and it is going to sail over the fence. A big 6, the first one of tonight. Bacardi, he's gone whack, and picks up the maximum for himself. So that will do the confidence no end of good. Really drag that from far way outside off, lifting it all the way over the fence. We get set to, well, there's one bail. There's one bail coming off. And oh, that's a well pitched delivery. It was much fuller, but he gave us some air, and Macari decided he would go for the sweep shot, but just played all around it. And well, it was Harry Pyle maybe just thinking a little bit quicker than he needed to, as that over comes to a close. So here we are, folks. Well, what an amazing place, and of course, not only here in Gibraltar, but we've got so much cricket happening all around Europe, and between Spain and Gibraltar, it's just an absolute feast of cricket at this time of year for ECN. And we've had the privilege of staying on the Spanish side of the border. It's a place called La Linea, and every day we have to come across into Gibraltar. We come here by foot as we return to the live action. He's bowled him, yes. Beautiful delivery. There's another wicket. And that's all. They're not going too hard, but Mohammad Roshan, he's done the job. And hello to you as well, Keanu. Well, he's Keanu Reviews now. A little bit of a name change, but been a long time, and lovely to see you back there. It's a real pleasure. And of course to you, Claire Allen. Claire from Liverpool, who's usually lurks around, but thought she'd come in and say hello. And of course, Rich Askew is in there. He's using the chat for a little bit of nostalgic reminiscence, which is, you know, perfectly good way of utilising the system. It's a great community here for ECN who gets involved. So if you are watching and you're not, you haven't tuned in via YouTube, you can do on our YouTube channel, European Cricket Network. Hit subscribe, and you will be able to join in all the fun. We've got viewers from all over the world. We've got people in England, South Africa. We're down in the Indian subcontinent as well. Big hello to all of you out there. And of course, I didn't mention, well, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Oh, there's a beautiful delivery from Roshan, and again he's moving it from right to left as off the seam, and really tempting the batters into playing a false shot outside the line. You see there, just not quite sure which way to go, forward or back. As that's a great ball, and it did come back. It is a close call. It was. He's coming over the wicket, the right-hander, so he's angling down the left. But like I said, Roshan, he's managing to bring it back a little bit, and this was a really close call. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was given out, but to the naked eye, it did seem to be going down a little bit. It's Vayed Haraja who's out there facing, and he's been squared up a little bit, but managed to get a bit of bat onto it to trickle it down to third man. Takes a single. He's certainly done a job. 1.5 overs, and he's only gone for the 3 runs, taking up that 1 wicket, and just putting it on a dime each and every time. So not too much slogging going on here as the 6 over peters towards the pointy end. He's still out there though, and we know he can hit it. So he plays a classical punch towards point there, in between point and the covers, takes a single, and that is pretty much all they are managing to muster as the 6 over comes to a close. The score is 28 for the loss of 4 wickets. Yes, happy Valentine's Day. You can probably tell my relationship status by the fact that I completely forgot until this moment. But I have to say, for the gentlemen out there, well, they must have very forgiving wives, girlfriends, or partners, or they just love cricket more than anything else that they've come out on Valentine's Day. There's a few little prezzies and maybe a cooked dinner being had, or a lunch. Zach Simpson comes into the attack, and hasn't he been great? Yeah, great to hear in the chat as well. Andy Reyes, who took that spectacular one-handed catch, as that was not the ball to be sweeping. It gave Zach the chance at a little bit of optimism at a leg before wicket, but it was going down leg. Yeah, Andrew Reyes took that amazing catch, and great to see that the finger, although still being sore, is good enough to take some blinders on the fence, as you did yesterday, as that one's gone straight through the gate, eluded the keeper. It was a definite stumping chance as Bakari tried to change the length of it by moving down the pitch. Zach Simpson really does give it some flight, and he tempts the batters in, but then, as we know, using your feet on this wicket is a pretty good tactic if you can be quick enough just to try to nullify the variation that the ball exhibits after it hits the deck. As that one is called a wide. Yes, the umpire walks off the screen, but I've got Got prime view here from the stadium. It's been called wide, which absolutely makes sense. So well, it's looking like a maiden at the moment, except for that wide. He's turning it a little bit, but just not quite getting his line right. So a couple of sundries off it, but nothing off the bat so far. Yeah, Valentine's Day. Well, Valentine's Day is a hallmark day. Yeah, I do realise that. Just had a few people writing in saying that you didn't mention it in the intro. So, but none of them are my partners, so don't have to worry about the offence offered. Yeah, and we had a good day of cricket as well. There were games played today in Malta, as the Royal Strikers and Gozo Zalmi had wins that bring them up towards, well, the second and third position. It's Fiecchi United, of course, who are sitting on top in that competition, having played 2 fewer games than those others I just mentioned. It's looking like a good tight tournament, and fantastic to see that some cricket was put on, but it's been an incredibly wet season over there, and also here, and it's a credit and a testament to the character and the will of all the players involved in this series, that they've shown up time and time again. Umpires are just checking something. So you can see there the run rate 4.7. It is quite paltry, I'm going to say. It's oh, and that's a good shout. It's to hit him on the back leg, but pitched way outside the line on the offside, which of course doesn't matter. It looked like it hit him in line. The only question for mine would be height. Zach Simpson, he's trusting his spin, but that time it pitches outside leg. He is pulled away, but ably fielded by Nikhil Advani out there. So Chris Smith, our resident meteorologist, he's just mentioning that there's been more than 4 months worth of rain in Malta over the last 15 days. So it's very wet February indeed. There's another couple of sundries added to the score. So Vayed Haraja, he's on 2 of 5. Just some lovely sportsmanship going on there. There's Harry Pyle. Let's make sure that he doesn't trip up over his shoelaces. But he's being tied up in more ways than that at the moment by Zach Simpson, who, although he's gone for 5, is being a threat. That's a good shout. I think that's going down, but no, the umpire sees it differently. He has trusted it with the spin back away from the right-hander, so a beautiful delivery, which certainly begged the question. No, that's a great decision. Yeah, on first glance, it looked like it was going down to me, but fantastic decision, and just got really tied up, and well, he's on his way. Vayed Haraja, just the 2 runs, and have a look at that, folks. The countdown is on. 13 days to go. Never mind Valentine's Day, the big day of love and commitment is in 13 days, on the 27th of February, when the Champions League of European Cricket gets going over there in Malaga, Kazuma Oval. As I mentioned earlier, Spain is just becoming this amazing bastion of European cricket. And we all can't wait for that, as John Matthews comes into the attack. A short one is pulled away, but not with any great conviction, as Dave Barley rounds around to gather it in. Yeah, so there's a few people. So Kiana Keanu Reviews, his name is now. He's been reviewing a few things, asking a few questions about Gibraltar. And it is an immensely fascinating place. So it is a British overseas territory, Gibraltar. And so similar to the Falkland Islands. There's yeah, he's been bold. He's been bold there. Yeah. So yet another wicket falls. Look, folks, we could be on as the 7th over comes to a close. John Matthews picks up a wicket. Yeah, straight through, knocks out his leg stump. And the ball's dead as it trickles down towards the rope, and that's that could bring us in line for the first time in this series where a team could be bowled out. We came close yesterday with 8 wickets falling for the Intainers, actually. Yeah, Balaji. So Avinash Pai felt that LBW was definitely sliding down and missing leg. Umpires saw it differently. But let's get back to Gibraltar. So being a British overseas territory, it uses the pounds as Gibraltarian pounds, but you can actually use British pounds here as well, and euros. It's got to be said. My shops will give you a price in both. There's of course all the vagaries of international politics affect here as much as everywhere else, and with Britain leaving the European Union, that of course meant that Gibraltar was no longer part of the European Union. The thing is that so many people live in Spain and work in Gibraltar. There's such a passage of people across the border every day. As John Matthews puts that one wide of the mark. Yes, it's been called. It's been given. It was really to the left-hander coming from over the wicket. That angle very much taking the ball too far beyond the tram tracks. Yeah, a lot of people, so a lot of connection between Gibraltar and Spain. Of course, being the same land mass. It was in from memory 1709 that the British took over this little peninsula as a military bastion. Now you can correct me on the chat. My memory tells me it was during the Spanish War. They came and they were pitted against the Spanish and the French, and came and took this. Maybe I've got that wrong. Just let me know in the chat if that is the case. But essentially, it's been British territory since then. So cricket's been played here for a long time. The first cricket pitch in Gibraltar was actually on the other side of the rock, where the airport currently is, and was demolished for that airport. 1704, Andy says. So there we go. I was 5 years off, which is what a lot of people say about my fashion. So I'll stick with that. And, a lot of people have big relations between during the years where Britain was part of the EU, being one of the foundational parts. We'll have to look at the urban development chart there, and it's been pretty rough going for the sloggers. So all those look like pretty big skyscrapers, but it's all relative, folks. We're standing at ground level there. And during the well, there's been a couple of times during history where that border has posed some problems, of course, between again from memory 1969 and 1982. It was the Gibraltar-Spain border was actually closed, so it was a 13-year period where because of the Franco regime in Spain, and this being a British territory, so similar to the much more well-known Berlin Wall, where Berlin was closed off during that era. Yeah, similar situation here for 13 years where the Gibraltar-Spain border was actually closed, and it separated friends and family, and obviously really decimated the local economies, as well as the emotional state of the people living in there. And then of course with the end of the Spanish fascist regime, that was was able to, and the reason they did close it is because FanCode was pushing to retake Gibraltar and bring it back into Spain. It was an effort to really stifle the place. Didn't succeed though, as that one's dragged away to the onside, and Dave Barley will wrap it up. They do go back for 2 though in this 9th over. Creeping towards the 50-run mark. Bakari's still out there. He's on 12, but not going at the greatest run rate, or strike rate, I should say. That one is driven down to long off. In the chat, Julian Salicia is asking, is the commentator from Australia? Indeed, my name's Joe Wegasani. They call me Joe Wegs. I am from Australia. My accent's Australian, certainly. I've got an Australian passport. I was born there. But I somehow ended up in Europe about 15 years ago, as he's been stumped. So Zach Simpson gets another wicket. That's wonderful work by him, as he wraps up his spell with 2 for 10. So excellent stuff. And that will bring him, in terms of the bowling, so he's now got 19 wickets in this series. Zach Simpson. So that's been fantastic, and he played in the series last year, did a very good job there. But you can see the improvement as well, and there's obviously been a lot of consistent training and commitment to his trade. He's reaping the rewards now. He's got the best figures in this tournament so far, 3 for 8. But he's done pretty well there as well. As the new batter comes out. And it is going to be Sebastian Suarez walking out to the pitch. So he joins Bakari, who's still there. And that one, well, he goes to the big hook, but Johnny Matthews just managing to keep it really tight, really square him up, or cramp him up, I should say. And that one, well, he's popped it right up in the air, but it's not going to carry to either of the fielders out there. And Martin making sure that it doesn't do any more damage than just the single. So this one's going to be a low target indeed. And that's on the stumps, and if he'd missed, it would have hit, but as it is, he gets a bit of an inside edge and drags it down behind square. Yet another single. Yeah, so really good chat going on there on YouTube. A lot of our moderators tuning in. You all do fantastic work. Thank you very much for keeping it all clean and friendly. As Bakari dances down the pitch, hits it sky high, and the man at point comes around, but it's twirling, and it is eluding his fingers, but the throw comes in very quickly. It could be a run out. The umpire's calling for the 3rd man. It could be a hard one to see it. If the fielder's in the way, so he picks it up. The run comes in. It's really well collected by Harry Pyle. Look at that work. And he manages to hit the stumps with the ball in his glove, which is hard enough. I think that's out. Yeah, that's out. That's absolutely gone. So the toughest part of that take by Harry Pyle is to not hit the stumps with the glove that you're not holding the ball in. And he did that really well. Takes it in the right and manages to knock it into the stumps. To mine, that looks like it's Gonski's. Well, Chris Smith is giving the relationship advice in the chat. If you don't love someone enough to do romantic things throughout the year, and you do it for one day, then you don't love them enough at all. There you go, folks. So if you are celebrating Valentine's Day, as today is has come to be known, then you can, if you're doing too much on this day and not the rest, then John Smith reckons you should rethink your life. That one was shorter ball. He's not going down without a fight. I'll tell you what, he has clobbered that. So taking a bounce over the rope, 4 runs to Bakari. He bolsters his stats a little bit. Read the length really well, and beautiful hook shot basically. Got down line. John Matthews couldn't believe it. That's not a single, he says. Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. It's and the word Valentine, so it comes from the Saint Valentine, and it's the way the people in Europe used to mark the calendar is Saints' feast days, as Bakari dances down the track to this second last ball of the innings. Misses it completely, and it's a dot. So it's how people would mark dates and occurrences is whether the Saints' feast day was on that. Well, that was the last ball actually. So talking about a feast day, it's the Rugby CC have feasted on the Sloggers there. They have kept them to a very, very low total, despite the best efforts of a couple of the mainstays at the top of the order, but unfortunately none of their teammates were able to join them. As we have a quick look at the replay, have a look at the to get going. Well, Christian Navas, he skied one pretty early, got caught, and then of course Mohammed Roshan and Thomas Rummage, they both got involved. There was a good couple of run outs as well, and yeah, Mohammed Roshan, he did a really good job taking wicket and keeping the runs down, and a nice piece of work there by Harry Pyle as well, affecting the stump out. The stumping, stump out, and then a run out, or a rumping, and that was pretty much the end of it for the Sloggers. Not much slogging going on, but for a little cameo at the end there by Bakari, who managed that beautiful shot. That was there. He ended up being their top scorer with 24 off 25, while Brian Zammit at the very top of the order in a couple of nice boundaries before he was bowled by Thomas Rummage. So you can see the batting scorecard. It does not read very prettily for the Sloggers, but for the bowlers on the opposing side, it looks pretty good. They all chipped in. Zach Simpson with 2. Well, Adelaide Adeteo, he only bowled the 1 over, but it was just that kind of getting through the middle innings. It didn't go for too many, only 9. As for the rest of them, they all managed to pick up a wicket for at least from their team. So you can see there, the Rugby CC needs 54 runs in 60 balls. That's a pretty easy equation. It shouldn't take too much going, but anything can happen in this wonderful game of cricket, no less this wonderful version that we call TCS T10. We'll be back with all that action and more in a few short minutes. Until then, ciao for now. And a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Europa Sports Complex here in Gibraltar. I'm Joe Wegasani, and this is ECN Cricket. And it's been we're one innings down, where the Sloggers were unable to really put too many runs on the board. And as such, they are staring up a big monolithic rock to climb if they're going to try to contain this Rugby CC team. There's a little bit of a batting change as well. We've got normally Ian Latin will be out there opening, but it's Nikhil Advani, his usual partner. And that first delivery being wide, so that's not a good start. And that's going to be a no ball and a free hit as well. That one just not quite leaving the hand appropriately in a good way. And it's and that one as well. So not quite the kind of start that we want. Giving away sundries at will. And of course David Quach out there, who's been given the honours to come out and open the bat, which is some work by Ian Latin to give his other players a bit of a go with not too much to chase down. They're trying to get 54 runs, and it's not going too well as Timothy Rioch just not quite getting things under control here to start with. Well, that one's in line. It's almost chopped on. And that was a great delivery, and they're all very impressed. No less that man himself. It was a good ball and definitely threatening the wickets. Again, Timothy Rioch, and that one's driven off the back foot by Advani. Out there to cover, and they take the first run off the bat. So we've had 2 legal deliveries, 4 sundries, and 1 off the bat. That one's going to be another wide, so just popped up and threatening Christian Barbara there a little bit, as he slid down to prevent it going any further than his gloves. It's a good line, but just too short, and it's been cut beautifully away forward of point, and just finding that slightest gap. Went over his head. Yeah, there it is. And running away to the boundary, so 4 runs, and that's it's about 8% of all the runs that they need. So a lot of good conversation going on in the chat. How's the weather in where everybody is? It's good to see that some of you've got some nice glorious sunshine as Quach steps back and taps that away behind square. That was Matthew Rioch, so who's fielded that. The Rioch is getting involved. It's going to be another wide, well left by Advani. He's an experienced cricketer in this format. And he's not had too bad of a series himself. High score of 48 not out. He's made 239 runs so far. As that one is on a really good line and just treated with respect, dropping it down on the offside and setting off for a single. Nikhil Advani, well-established local Gibraltarian cricketer. Not only has that one has a bit of a flash at it, does David Quach outside the off stump. Doesn't get the edge, but does bring us to the end of the over. So there it is finally. 13 runs coming off it. Got a little bit of movement there from right to left. Yeah, Nikhil Advani, well, we'll get back to him. Let's check that out. We had a golden ball in Malta the other day, and that means we've had 10 matches so far. So we're all crossing our fingers that that number won't get too high because we love the excitement. It's going to now be Sebastian Suarez, who's coming to the attack to bowl this second over. That one's been gone straight, but it's gone right in the air. It's been beautifully taken as well. What a grab, what a celebration as well. He absolutely loved that. Javad Bukhari only did a bit of a job with the bat for his team. He was the one rock of Gibraltar in that batting lineup, and now he's clutched one running in from mid-on. There's Quach. There's Advani, excuse me. So I was just about to read off his CV, and then he goes and gets out. He's a Gibraltarian cricketer, also played for Costa del Sol. But love the dance, love the celebration. We can have a look at this man. He's coming out, and we've prepared a special Ian Latin special performance analysis. Have a look at that. Versus Sloggers 280, versus Pirates 283, and versus the Entertainers 214 runs, bringing him within spitting distance of that pretty incredible 1,000-run mark in this series. If he can make 16 runs. He'll certainly be warranting a bit of a celebration on this Valentine's Day. And he'll be facing up now to Suarez, who gets it. I was veering down, but Suarez is also managing to move back a little bit against the wind. So as it is, Latin dabbles it around the corner and takes a single. So we're on the Ian Latin millennial count. 15 runs to go. Really has been an incredible performance by that man. So worth reading out his call sheet. Also a local Gibraltarian. He's played for Gibraltar, and some of the teams that we don't have in this series, but local teams, Bavaria, the Calpe Giants. They were the victors last year, but not making a showing in this series. As Quach steps outside off and tries to paddle it away on the onside, but a very quick Suarez manages to get there in time to prevent any run. So 39 runs needed off 51 balls. Plenty of balls, not that many runs. Let's try it again, and it's pretty much a carbon copy. Deja vu going on there. I'll just hit rewind and replay my commentary from that previous delivery. Yeah, there's been it's a little bit of a changing of the guard time for Gibraltarian cricket. One feels you've got these fantastic stalwarts like Advani and Latin, and then of course the likes of Julian Freoni and Andrew Reyes, who have been holding up Gibraltarian cricket for a long time, and as we've also seen in this series, some wonderful exhibitions of skill by the likes of Louis the Bruce. We haven't seen much of Samantha Boda in this series, but very, very good cricketer, and that one is a wide. Will have to be bowled again. So not quite the end of the second over. Already 16 runs into the that not so formidable target. Yeah, we were here a little bit early today, and down in they've got this incredible indoor cricket net facility in this stadium. It's an incredible stadium actually. It's got squash courts inside. That one's punched off the back foot by Quach. He really rose with that pitching delivery and manages to push it to backward point or to third man for a single. So not only on the pitch, you've got this amazing artificial turf all over it, which keeps it in this pristine condition. So we have a look at the table there, and you can see the Rugby CC. They'll be looking to keep their net run rate above the Pirates. If they get the chance to bring their victory total up enough to pinch second spot, then that will come in very handy. Now it is going to be Shanujan Vayed Haraja who's come in and gets it on the money, but it's a bit short, and that man has just swiveled around on it. David Quach picks himself up a boundary, 4 more runs to the total. He read that length, it stayed low, but he managed to get under it, hit over the infield, and one bounce over the rope for 4. Yeah, nicking a single at the end of the last over to Prime. We're all here on Ian Latin Millennium Watch, so as much as we're loving your work, David Quach, gives a single. Get Latin back on strike. That one's going to be bowled again, as it is well wide of the mark. Yeah, so not only on this outfield when we arrive early on, there's lots of rugby training going on. There's football. It's a real multi-purpose stadium. There's a big wave of the wand to a good line delivery. Quite a full ball, but really tempting that drive and looking for the edge. This is much better in this third over. It's a full delivery that's been pulled away, but there is protection out there at square leg. So then you go inside the stadium, and it's this amazing sporting club facility where you've got cricket nets, you've got squash courts, you've got pool tables, you've got dart lanes, you've got all kinds of things. There's a social club, which is an Australian sporting piece of Australian sporting terminology for a bar. So it's Latin on strike now as we all hold our breath to see if he can Russell muster up those 16 runs. I thought he'd taken one, but it must have been called a leg by as that one slips through the gate, passes the keeper, runs down towards the fence, and it is going to be 4 byes. Yeah, just kind of ducked back in, and good nut as well. Ian Latin, we were talking to him the other night, and he was saying how he really had to readjust his batting on this. I mean, you look at his stats, you wouldn't think he had to adjust anything, but he felt that at stages in this tournament, he kind of lost sight of the fact that you've got this real variable bounce, and felt that he was overhitting the ball. So he decided to start using his feet just like that, trying to get to the pitch of the ball and not hit it too hard, but just play some good straight cricketing shots. So real thinking cricketer as that over comes to a close. The score is 28 for 1 after the power play, so that's getting them around about, well, halfway towards the mark. Over halfway towards the mark now. which I just had to double check with my mathematics. As those who are commonly here listening to me, you know it's not my strong point, putting numbers together, but we managed to get there in the end. Yeah, so it's really wonderful to see. So Gibraltar, there's a population of about 35,000, and it is an ICC member. It's the least populated ICC member. Gibraltar, as Latin comes down the pitch and he hits it right up in the air, and the fielder's coming in from long off, but he's not going to get there in time. He collects it on the bounce, and Latin gets a run off the bat. Ian Latin Millennium Watch, 15 away. So I'm getting a bit of insight in the chat as to why. Oh, that's a good ball and hit him right in front, and that should be out. Yeah, that's gone. Great delivery. Suarez coming back in, and he's put it right on the mark and used that natural wind and then straighten it up, and that front pad just is a little bit too full to be, well, if you miss it, then you're going to be pretty plumb, and that's exactly what the case was. Trying to rely on the hand-eye coordination to flick the wrists around it, but as it is, Quach, he's going to have to depart the scene, and he will be replaced by Ataloye Adateo. Here he comes. He's all rugged up. He's got the hoodie on. He's got the neck warmer on, or I believe it's called a buff or a bluff. I'm wearing one myself. It's probably my favorite possession in winter. And beanie on before. He's looking very well rugged up and cozy as he sidles out to meet his captain in the middle. Yeah, I love the comparisons in the chat between what constitutes a small town. So about 35,000 people here in Gibraltar, and that's a territory. You know, you get nationality, it's Gibraltarian. But Chris Smith in the chat lives in a small town in England, 170,000 people, compared to Amanda Huntley, who's got about 20,000 people in her small town. So lots of different interpretations as to what constitutes a small town. And neither of Gibraltar would certainly fit into that. It is dominated, of course, by the amazing rock. And I climbed up there the other day to go and have a look at these wonderful panoramic views of the harbour. There's the old World War II tunnels in there. That one's on the money, and Ataloye Adateo has managed to get bat to it and drive it out to cover and set off for a quick single. So even though it's not the biggest target, they are doing a little bit of a containment job here, and taking wickets certainly helps. No, Johnny G not looking at a Millennium Quatch anytime soon. As Latin just shows that flair, using the wrists and just punching it down to mid-off for a single. So Ian Latin Millennium Watch goes to 14 runs required. Yeah, so you go up onto the rock, and then there's tunnels, and it really was a military bastion for a long time, and probably still classifies as such, as that's being cut away 9 point, but gathered there pretty quickly, and good return into the keeper. As the fourth over comes to a close at 32 for 2, they are closing in. It hasn't been the forceful domination that we might have expected. Yeah, and so if you go up on the rock, there's a cable car as well that can take you up there. You do have to pay an admittance. Even if you walk up, you pay an admittance, and there's a series of different walking tracks up there. You can get a map and Look, oof, was that one is well taken. Very, very well taken by Christian Barbara. As he manages to shimmy and slide into position to affect that stop. He waited on that well, and they're just running in singles, which is pretty good stuff. They might get an extra were it not for the fact that the return throw managed to catch Ataloy off guard and hit him. So just one more run to the total. And if you go along these tracks, most of them are paved, and you know it's a beautiful walk up and around. And there's oh, he's been bowled. He's been bowled. Can you believe it? Ian Latine, Millennium Watch will have to wait for the next match because he is gone for 2. And aren't they stoked about that? Wonderful, wonderful effort by that young man who's come on and really having an impact for his team. Shanujan Vayadaraja, he was pretty good with the bat. He was wasn't an easy wicket, but he's doing a job with the ball. He's just got one through, the series top scorer. Yeah, he just went to use the feet, but that length was a really good one to a batter using that tactic, which he clearly knew that he was, and he just dropped it in a little bit shorter so that even with using the feet, couldn't quite get to the pitch of it and got caught in 2 minds as to whether to attack and defend. Went for the defense, but the ball moved in and knocked his castle over. So great delivery. And 3 wickets down now. 20 runs to go, but there's a bit of pressure, and we know that Rugby CC, they have been relying a lot on Ian Latine, and some of the other batters have struggled to get away or to give the kind of support that might see them sort of sitting a bit higher in on the series table. Here's Harry Pyle facing this one, and he's cut it late, and he's found that was Christian Navas, I believe, down there, fielding at 3rd man, so he gets him himself. Yeah, Ian Latine, not himself on Valentine's Day. Oh, we know he's got a wife and a couple of kids. I believe one of them was born right before the series last year. I hope I got that right. Just going from memories. That's been driven down the ground, punched down, passed long on, a big 4. As Vayadaraja just getting that one a little bit too straight and a little bit too full, and Adateo, he punishes it. So there's a boundary. They need now, I think it's going to be 15 runs, I think they need. Maybe the calculation going too quickly in my head. He's putting that for a non-single. No, so it'll be now 18 runs needed. As we get to the halfway mark of the 5th over. So 3 deliveries left in this, the 5th, and that's a fuller ball, and it's punched away to that man there. He's feeling down at 3rd man, short 3rd man, so just singles and the odd 4 when they can get a hold of it. And that's really all they have to do. And we need to be going at around 3 runs and over. Well, here I am. Hello, I've put my hat on and added another layer because it is getting a little bit chilly. That sea spray is still coming in. It's I said it last night, but you lick your lips and you taste salt, which is pretty good. If you get a bit of a bland meal, you can just come out here and hold it up and make sure that you get a little bit of a taste into it. Not that we are getting any bland meals at all, but it's a remarkable thing that we're experiencing here. And when you come to the stand, at any time you put your hand up on something and you go away with this big crust of salt. So we're all rugging up to watch this wonderful game of cricket where Rugby CC, it looked like they are well on track. They're running really hard for the second here. The throw hit, I think he would have been gone, but the very, very speedy running was meant that the throw being offline, but it was putting pressure on the fielders. And the quick call and quick running between the wickets. And then the throw wasn't quite in line, and if that hit, well, Adelaide would have been out. He wants another one, but he's being told no by Harry Pyle. So we're learning the backgrounds of everyone in the chat as well, where everyone's coming from and what everyone does. So Keanu Reviews, he's changed his name to Reviews because he's reviewing foreign snacks and drinks. That's pretty good. I know Keanu, you're in Sydney, I believe, and all those foreign snacks and drinks. I'd love to know what some of your favourites are. So I'm gonna have to check out that YouTube channel, Keanu Reviews. A big hello to you, James Stewart, there in the chat as well. Yeah, I've been away from Australia for, what is it now? It was 2015 was the last time I was there. So, I actually, I wouldn't mind some Australian snacks. I've got a friend who's gone over there at the moment, and he did a beautiful thing today. We've all got a group, you know, us Aussies. I live in Amsterdam, and we've all got a group that talks about cricket and Australian football. And he put a link in the group today to a Coles, which is an Australian, well, I don't know if it's just Australian, I'm sure it's a multinational conglomerate, but it's a supermarket, big supermarket. You can get a lot of snacks. And he's made an account, and he put in the link, and he said, look lads, put in what you want. And so it's the cherry ripes and the Milo and the crunchies and the I can't even remember what they're called anymore. Curly Whirlies, Caramello Koalas. So I know that you're reviewing the foreign foods, but I've got the Australian snacks on my mind at the moment, Keanu. Yeah, Iggy Higgins, Vegemite. I'll tell you what, I've run out of Vegemite, and it's something that we all keep in store because it is, of course, the mightiest of the mites. Never mind Marmite or any of those other inferior mites. Vegemite is the one. And in Amsterdam, there is one shop where you can get these tiny little tubs, and they cost about €8. And it's well worth it. But unfortunately, in recent times, they've run out. And then, of course, the Tim Tams. Yeah, you can't go past the Tim Tams. So it's an amazing thing as that one's just punched away. I've got two sisters, and they both happen to marry Americans and moved over to America. And when they had kids, my parents, who had been living at that time, I think it was in England, they, as soon as they got grandkids, they thought, well, we don't know what Joe's doing, so we're going to go over there as well. As that over comes to a close, 51 for 3. Have a look at the bowling scorecard there, with Sebastian Suarez taking 2 wickets at a pretty handy average run rate. But my parents moved over, my sisters are over there, so they're all in America. My sisters have 5 kids, and my mum, who's their nana, they'll go over to her house every day after school. As that one's picked up and away, 1 bounce over the rope, 4 runs, lovely shot. That's the end of the match. As that one was achieved pretty comfortably in 6.1 overs. And just picked up really nicely by Harry Pyle. He middled that over the infield, and that is the end of match number 1 for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'll continue my story later on, but we should be able to go to the highlights in any moment. This Rugby CC just proving too good with both ball and bat in that fixture, and we can see that from the get-go it was a different opening pair as Nikhil Advani. He tried to get going, but beautifully taken out there by Mokari. What a catch that was, running in, and didn't he love it? Gave it the old wiggle of the hips celebration, and Suarez, he picked up 2 wickets for his troubles, and they were both really good ones. And then this man as well, Shanajan Vayad Haraja, managing to do a bit of a job for his team, just making sure that they kept Rugby CC honest. But then Atuloya Adateo, he started going whack, and joined very comfortably by Harry Pole there, who managed to knock it all off with that lovely boundary to bring the match to a close. So it has been Rugby CC in this first match, which means we should have a little bit of time before the next one, as that one finished in only 6.1 overs. We can have a look with the batting scorecard. Didn't have to be too much, and surprisingly the Ian Latin Millennium Watch, well, it came short after only 2 runs added to his total. Beautifully bowled by Vayad Harajan and Vayad Haraja, excuse me. Just got a little something in my throat there. And we'll have to see whether he can come up with the goods in the next match. But as it is, the Rugby CC, that's all that matters for the captain and for his teammates. They beat the Sloggers by 7 wickets, which brings them, should be good for their net run rate, and it will bring them within pouncing distance of the Pirates, who currently sit second. So we'll be back in a little bit over half an hour, folks. So go and get yourself some Tim Tams, some Vegemite, or whatever snack or drink choice you have. Cup of tea, maybe mango lassi, also a much beloved beverage from this end. And I'll be back with, well, we'll all be back to bring you the next fixture in a little bit over 30 minutes time. Until then, ciao for now.
Welcome to the last game of the evening between Rugby and the Sloggers. Sloggers will be calling. Here's your heads and there's your tails.
Heads.
Heads is a call. And it looks like we have a head.
Yeah, we're going to bat again first.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Cheers.
So we've come out a little bit to the middle of the pitch just to try to give you a glimpse of the mist that's coming on in. It has picked up a little bit, but as we've seen from the last few days, we're not going to let that stop us playing some more cricket. It has been the Sloggers who have won the toss, and they're going to do it all again. They're going to bat first, and this time try to slog a little bit more. Let's see how they go coming up right now. And we are in for another prospectively, good match. Let's have a look to see if the Sloggers can not repeat the previous performance. They have chosen to bat again, and so we'll get a chance to make amends, to try to put on a bit of a bigger total as what we saw than what we saw in the previous match. We can have a look at there at the FanCode lineups. See, I don't think there's any big changes there. As we have a look at the CricBot expected score, and very similar. I think the previous match they had them expected at 101 at Rugby CC, and the Sloggers at 88, so that's gone down a little bit. What was expected, but still far beyond what they did manage in the previous match. So let's see how we go. It is going to be Dave Barley taking the new ball. For the Sloggers, well, Brian Zammett's out there. He'll be facing the first delivery, of course, accompanied by Christian Navas. So we're all set and ready for the action. A big hello to everybody out there in the ether, in the cricketing realms of the internet. In the world, wherever you're viewing from, a big hello to you, whether it's from your small town in the UK or your medium small town in the States or your big city in the Indian subcontinent. Big hello, and of course anyone else who have missed any other parts of the world where you're watching from, let us know in the chat. That would be the most... Where's the most unexpected place someone's watching this from as the first delivery comes in? It's a great ball from Dave Barley. He's got that right on the money from the get-go. And just angling into Zammit and then being taken away from the bat as he puts a defensive blade out towards it. Luckily for him, it misses everything, and well taken by Harry Pole behind the stumps. So right on the money again, but this time just rocking onto the back foot. Brian Zammit punches it to the onside. No run resulting, however, as Mohamed Roshan rushes in. Yeah, will Dave Barley reap some wickets early on? I dare say, with the way he's going, well, that's been picked up and away once, twice, thrice over the rope. 4 runs, Brian Zammit. He had a couple of siders, and Dave Barley putting that one in just short enough for him to rock around on it and pull it away to the rope. 4 runs on the board. Big hello. I want to send a big hello as well out to a very special friend of mine, Julian Smith. He's sitting there watching with his newborn baby as that one angling in at the stumps, and has been punched away down to mid-on. Yeah. Big hello to you, Julian, and little Louis, who is watching his first cricket matches for his life at the moment, as he's got one right through the cross-batted swipe by Christian Navas. Well, a very dangerous shot to try to effect to a ball coming in at pace. Well, good clip for a spinner, angling at the stumps, and Dave Barley indeed has reaped some rewards as he took out all 3 stumps, all the bails. There they go. And the first wicket of the game. Yeah, the Sloggers do need Brian Zammit to stay in. Fortunately, well, in reference to that, he's at the non-striker's end, so he's still out there, but Christian Navas, unfortunately, he has to take the long stroll back to the shed. As he is going to be replaced by Christian Barbara. Yeah, so little Louis Smith, he's out there watching his first cricket match. Also became he's probably the newest member of the Melbourne Football Club, which I'm proud to say I also am of. So very big hello to you out there, to the Smiths, congratulations. And for anyone else, if you're sitting there watching with a newborn baby, let us know in the chat on the European Cricket Network YouTube channel. You can subscribe and tell us all about how you're watching this cricket here in Gibraltar as the first over comes to a close. I think there's 5 runs that have come off it, and 13 days to go until the Champions League of European Cricket. That is going to encompass 31 clubs from 30 different nations. It is just growing year by year by year as ECN continues the fine work of spreading and growing the game that we all love around this continent that we all love, as this one is given some air. That new bowler is of course Thomas Ramage. He's going to have to bowl. Well, I just thought he'd have to bowl it again, but Brian Zammit thought, I'll go chasing that, slap it to the covers, and run a quick single. And he gets the same result as if he just left it. Then he's not at risk of losing his wicket in the next delivery unless he gets run out, because he took the run. So it's a quick bit of glove work behind the stumps there as Christiana Barbara just big wave of the wand outside off to no great effect. Well, that one was there for the front foot drive. I feel it was a pretty good length to get the foot to it and push through the ball, but as it was, Barbara's going for that leg side boundary. So it's pretty much a carbon copy for the ball that Zammit chased down earlier, but Barbara does the sensible thing and lets it go through to the keeper, meaning it is a wide. I saw the great privilege as that one gets past the bat, and Harry Pyle is appealing, I think, for a catch. He's appealing to the standing umpire rather than the thought he might have been appealing for stumping, but thinks he might have heard a bit of an edge there. Ooh, and that one almost comes back. It was pretty smart by Barbara just to let it go past him, but it did turn back in a little bit and had a little bit of a sniff at the leg stump as it sailed on past. And they have run through for a bye. Wide, so 2 wides added to the total, and that is, after 2 overs, means the score will be 9 runs, I believe. 9 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. Just waiting for the cricket calculator to catch up to proceedings. There's a lot of fine work going on behind the scenes. We've got the ECN crew here doing magnificent work. 8 runs, so this is the 1 wide of that, and it's going to be Atuloy Adeteo who's coming to the attack now. He's been slapped away down to mid-wicket where John Matthews collects it, keeps it to just the 1. So Adeteo gives it some air, and Zammit really waiting on it and did well to just step back and just push that single. So doing a little bit better, a little bit better than previous. They were hovering around the same mark actually. It's 4.5 runs and over so far, so not really making the most of the power play. And it's one thing that the Rugby CC are doing really well is pushing through the overs quickly. That one's pulled off the middle stump. Yeah, cricket's been around here for a long time. As I mentioned earlier, there was a cricket pitch on the other side of the rock in the 19th century. There was actually there's a story about an Australian touring team in 1890 who were involved in a bit of a ship collision their way, and they ended up in Gibraltar, where they played a match, according to the story, keeping the local team to 25 runs. So the Australians ended up winning that one, scoring 150 for the loss of 8. So it was that was one of the very early international matches, I guess you'd call it. I wonder if that one gets first class status. Have to send that one through the experts. Yeah, they were on a ship, and on the way to tour to England, they had a collision with 2 other ships and had to dock in Gibraltar. And so the Australian team took the opportunity to play against the Gibraltar garrison team, which it was a military base back then. And cricket did continue to grow here as that one has been driven through the covers, well collected, and a good throw to the right end where the best chance for a run out was. Good thinking by the fielder, but unfortunately the ball just falling short and kicking up and making the run out not possible. Yeah, by the 1930s you had a flourishing cricket scene here in Gibraltar, as that one has been angled in. He likes it a lot. The umpire, on the other hand, said that it was coming back too much. Pitched right outside off, and really, well, a little bit outside off, definitely hit him in line. It's really angling in, hits the back leg. Oh God, that's a tough decision, I feel. I don't know if I can understand why Aditeo appealed about 2.5 times. Nothing doing. Decision's the decision. So let's have a look at the urban development chart there. And the power play not really reaping the rewards he'd want, as Zamet rocks back and slaps that over the rope. That is 4 more runs. I do feel it might have gone all the way over the rope. Let's see, can we get a shot of that going over the rope? And it's been called a 4, so that'll stand. Must have bounced just before the rope. As that one drifts down the leg, but that big left pad of Brian Zamet gets in the way and prevents it being a wide. As Thomas Rummage comes into the attack. Just practicing his run up a little bit. Yeah, Andrew Reyes thinks it was missing that decision, so the right call was made as that one's hit high in the air, and Ian Latin comes in, collects it very smoothly and has it back into the keeper. So 1 more run to the total, and this has been the problem for the Sloggers against this Rugby CC unit. Is besides Brian Zamet and work by Javad Bokhari, they haven't really been able to get much away, and really getting bogged down in the mire of ones and, well, I was going to say 1s and 2s, but it's mainly just 1s, as that's another well Directed delivery right in at the pads, and once again Zamet unable to do more than just knock it down on the onside and take a single. Yeah, long history of cricket in this part of the world, being a British colony, but or British territory, but also this big melting pot. And it's a real mix of many different backgrounds, ethnicities, languages. You've got the that one's been skied and it should be caught. Yeah, Adateo. Well, he didn't get the LBW, but he's taken the catch, and the second wicket falls. Second wicket of the Sloggers. As that really hit the tail end of the bat, and the toe of the bat, I should say, and just not getting enough connection on it to do much more than send it up in the air and landing safely in those hands of Adateo. So Christian Barbara, he is on his way back, exiting stage left, and here's the man I just mentioned, Javad Bakari. These are the two, really, if the Sloggers are going to make a fist of this, these are the two that they need to stay out there. Because they can both hit big. We know that for sure. Bacardi lifted one from pretty much on the tram line to his offside in the previous match. It was, verging, it would have been almost a wide, and he managed to drag it across and over the rope on the leg side, so he can certainly punish a delivery. He cuts that one down to point, and no run achieved. So that's the end of the fourth. 25 runs on the board for the Sloggers. 25 for 2 is the score. They have managed to lift that run rate a little bit up to 6.5 runs and over, so that's in a positive direction anyway. As we can have a look at the scorecard so far, and you can see where the depth maybe begins to dwindle a little bit with this team against this very tight rugby CC unit. Although I was very, very impressed by Shanajan Avayad Raja with the ball, but he also looked to be able to handle the bat. And talk about handling a bat, well, that one's been picked up and away, over the fence. 6 more runs. Brian Zamet is going to take this team on his back and haul them towards a total of note if he can. So 6 more runs, really hitting with the wind there, and you can see how far it travels. Really timed that very, very well, did Brian Zamet. Yeah, local Gibraltarian cricketer. There's a fuller ball, and he gets it on the full, and he's hit it out, but not as far as Latin, who will have to just collect it on the bounce. And a good throw in, hits the stumps. That'll always make you feel good. Yeah, long history here. So by the 1930s, it was looking like it was becoming a very, very popular game here in Gibraltar. But one of the things that happened all around the world, the Second World War here in Gibraltar, because it was this military base essentially for the British, the entire civilian population was evacuated. So everyone who wasn't in the military, they had to leave, and as such, a lot of the cricket fields that had sprung up around the place had been given away to make space for military installations. As a fuller ball is driven square of the wicket, 2 point, and it would have been a close run out. Been close to a run out. The throw being a bit more accurate, but it's really tough conditions to be throwing and catching, and we know how difficult it is. And Harry Pyle tried to do the old one-handed run out, but as such, that ball just slipping it through his gloves. Yeah, you can't get a run out without the ball in your gloves, unfortunately, Harry. Trying to pile on the pain. So I really like Adeteo's action, actually. It's a really... make it very difficult to face, I feel. As he has this kind of a loopy action. It looks like his shoulder almost dislocates as he... Oh, and he's bowled him, yes. Well, that one went... It was the straighter one. Yeah, it was the straighter one, and not picked at all by Bacardi, who tried to glance it away on the offside, but as such, he was deceived. And that one just cracking on to the stumps. And that is the end of, yeah, probably one of the more dangerous batters in the lineup of the Sloggers. So Adeteo, he gets the breakthrough. The Nigerian national, Atoleo Adeteo, he has been a big force here in this local cricketing scene since arriving, plays for Costa del Sol up in Spain. There is a big intermingling of the Spanish and the Gibraltarian cricketers, with that border, of course, being so close, even though there is still a sense of competition between. I was just having a chat that there's always a little bit of a tension between Gibraltar and Spain, and as I mentioned earlier, that border was closed off for a good 13 years and preventing anyone from seeing each other and really sort of stifling the local economy. And now it's back up and running, so you've got a lot of players who live here and play in Spain, or they live in Spain and they play here. So it's a good little mix at the moment. Yeah, cannot argue about that. Oh, and he's just absolutely walloped that. Yeah, picked it up. It wasn't too short, but he just got down low, managed to get on the full and slapped it. Really, no, it was a bit of a half volley he made it into, and managed to find the gap between the fielders there, mid wicket and long on. And Brian Zammit moves very swiftly to 27 off 16. And this one he's going a bit straighter down the ground. It will be cut off there.
Yeah, great work, Zach. Great comeback, mate. Love that.
A few questions in the chat. Am I still sporting the heated jacket this evening? I actually, well, first clarification, it's a heated vest. Very important distinction. I do like a vest. I've invested in the vest. It allows for a lot of movement and action. I'm a pretty active person. I like walking a lot, and I like a vest because it keeps your core warm. But indeed, I've come a long way in the last 15 years, whereas years ago you wouldn't have found me in such a technical piece of clothing. But this year I've invested in a heated vest. You plug in a little USB power bank. You charge it up just like you charge your phone, and you put it in the pocket, and you can hit a button, and suddenly it's... The closest I can equate it to is if someone got a bunch of hot water bottles and duct taped them around your body. So it's a pretty good bit of gear, and I actually don't have it on today. I've been a bit reticent to wear it because of the salt. I've got to say, there's yeah, I keep going on, but the salt. I've also got these new boots. I bought them about a week and a half ago. They were all shiny and fresh and looking clean, and I look down at them now and they look like they're about 5 years old because of the salt and the damp. As that over comes to a close, 43 for 3 it is after 6 overs. So the Sloggers doing better than they were in the last match, that's for sure. And you can have a look at the bowling there. The rugby CC bowlers not quite making the inroads that they did, but each of them, well, a few of them picking up wickets so far. Yeah, you can be sure that I'll have the heated vest back on shortly as John Matthews comes into the attack. Shorter ball, and Punch that down, and he got a hand on it, and it's a run out. Yes, it's been affected a run out. I don't think the umpire quite caught that, but he got a finger onto it. He's absolutely pumped, the big fella, because with some good backing up, which is a very, very important aspect of batting, just grazed the pinky, went onto the stumps. You see the bails go flying. The umpire's trying to protect himself. Absolutely cannot blame him for that. But it turns out the stumps were protecting him. They were not protecting the non-striking batsman. And he can't quite believe it. Look, sometimes it's just not your night. As you can't really do much about that when it happens. It's pretty rare. Yeah, it's quite amazing. John Matthews, I was talking to him the other night, and many of you would know Stefan Gooch. Happens to be my cousin as well and part of the ECN crew. And John Matthews was saying that he actually grew up around the corner. They grew up around the corner from each other. And here they were in Gibraltar, taking part, both playing and officiating in a cricket match. It's funny the twists and turns that life can take you upon, as that one's been hoiked up over the fence. Big six for Zamet. He has just gone smash that. That is a big Maximo indeed. Yeah, it seemed to be getting big on him, but he's got a very, very quick hand speed and really used the pivot of the body to get around on that. Harry Piles just emulating it behind the stumps, thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind doing that myself. So let's see if Zamet carrying on in his wily ways of picking up boundaries. That's certainly what they need, the sloggers. There's nothing slogging about that, though. I've got to say that was a beautiful, beautiful hook shot. Probably the shot of the night so far. And don't worry in the chat, Johnny G. I know I was being pedantic about the terminology, but it's yeah. You can get heated jackets actually, by the way. If you look online, there are heated jackets. There must be other heated clothing as well. It's entirely possible. Basically, they run wires through the whole jacket and just heat up. So certainly when I find heated underpants on the market, I'll be getting myself a couple of pairs. As a full ball is driven to mid-on for a single. Yeah, I agree with you as well, Johnny, that it was very difficult for the umpire to see. It was impossible to see whether that return ball and that affected run out actually hit John Matthews' hands, but you can see it on the broadcast. It just clips his little finger. So it certainly was a run out as Ian Latine reels that one in and has it back to the bowler. That will bring us to the end of that over. And tomorrow all the action continues in Malta. Of course, you've got the Boogabah Blasters versus Master a couple of times, and then they'll be taking on the Southern Crusaders. Before the top of the table, Svieki United take on the Crusaders, the Southern Crusaders, I should say. And that all starts tomorrow on the European Cricket Network YouTube channel, 7:30 GMT, 8:30 Central European, excuse me. And 1 o'clock over there in India. Make sure you tune into that. All the action brought to you by Rico Full and Vinny Sando. So a wider ball is delivered. It's Mohamed Roshan who's coming to the attack now. If you want any details on any of that action or any of the other series that we have coming up, go to our website, europeancricket.com. Get all the information that your heart desires on this fine format of the game as is being played here in Gibraltar. I've really liked his Nice work, Roshan. He was very good in the last match as well. Managed to get that vital wicket. He's not quite happy with himself there, though. You can hear the self sort of, yeah, the wails of desperation at himself for not quite getting his line right. So another extra onto the board, and that's a better one, but it's full and being driven as such. So this is really all rugby have to do now. The Sloggers have gone past their total now from the previous match. They'll be happy with that. They've got 2.5 overs to go, so on track for a much better total in this match. Delgado just knocks that to the offside, takes another run. So trying to play with the bowler's mind a little bit was Brian Zammit walking down the pitch. He suddenly found himself on 38. So angling in towards that half-century mark, not to put the moz on him. And he is certainly showing intent. Oh, just like that. It's gone high in the air. Inlatine's under it. He won't get to it. He just fell short. Might have jammed his finger a little bit. So Zammit, wouldn't call it a drop chance, but he was flirting with danger there indeed. Oh, and bit of a slippery deck there. Mohamed Roshan, you can see there's a great spirit of conviviality in this series. Yeah, and that's one of the problems. You see all that salt coming over the place can make it a little bit slippery. Of course, you can't wear spikes on surfaces such as this, as that one is within a hair's breadth of the off stump. But as it is, it will just be a dot ball, and that's the end of the 8th over now. 58 for 4. Well stopped there as well by Harry Pyle. So 58 for 4, and we can have a look at the way that they've gone about it. And it's been a lot more consistent than in the previous match, and the big difference there is being when they have lost wickets, they haven't let that run rate drop, and in fact going at 7.25 runs and over is a great improvement on the previous innings. That one's on the money and goes for the big hook to the leg side. As it is, it finds his boot, and Zach Simpson does not have another run put to his name, the Duracell Bunny, as Charlie Hunt christened him. And he's played that one off the back foot, but a nice piece of fielding there by Ataloye. It's a good thing he's wearing a number, because you can't actually see his face. He's all wrapped up. And once again on the money, Zach Simpson giving it a bit of air as well, but a little bit too full, so allowing Delgado to slap it away to mid-wicket for a run. Yeah, James Stewart thinks we should get the old commentary car. I agree. The commentary car was a lot of fun. That was Zammit has gone big again, really big, over the fence. John Matthews can do aught, but watch that sail over his head as Zammit picks up 6 more runs. Beautiful shot. Yeah, that was the end of 2021. We were in Barcelona and it was extremely cold, and our tent disappeared. The night before, it was after day 1, we suddenly had no commentator's tent. We did have a car though. So we parked it up on the boundary and commentated from within. It was precarious to say the least. as we'll talk about precarious, that ball was in danger from the get-go because this fella is on his game at the moment. He's just picked that up. Not too short a length, but it did get a bit of bounce. And very, very good hand-eye coordination. And he's made 50 as well. So raising the bat, really nice 50 to Brian Zammit. 52 not out now, so that's a fantastic result for him and his team as well. Just having an inspection of the ball, maybe trying to decross it, as has been the way in this series. All that salt assembling the leather. Oh, and that was really well done as well. See, that's a danger ball from Zach Simpson, the straighter one that stays low. And Zammit still played across the line, but he kept his bat quite vertical. So he can be proud for that. After 9 overs, 73 for 4 is the score, which is heading to about par for what we've seen in this series so far. So they've been much improved this time round. Let's just see if the bowlers can come to the party as well when it comes to their turn. So speaking of bowlers, we got here. Yeah, it's going to be Roshan who continues by the look of it. So Zach Simpson after his 2 overs, no wickets to add to his fine tally so far in the series. 24 runs coming off as well, so it's a good indicator for the sloggers that they've showed much greater intent, and Zammit staying out there has certainly contributed to that as he picks up another run down to mid-on. One just steps back a little bit and glances it down to point and sets off for a quick one. They're really quick running between the wicket, and that's also a very positive sign. There's good communication. You can tell that they've rallied a little bit, the sloggers, since that pretty heavy defeat in the first match. And look at that, he's just hitting it with abandon at the moment, but he's stopped by John Matthews out there. Really, all Delgado needs to do here is just tip and run on either side, get Zammit back on strike. But that's a great ball from Roshan, angling in and then coming away from the right-hander. Probably away too much. If he hadn't got that movement, it might have gone into the woodwork. But as it is, it just beats the bat and goes through to the keeper. Projected score, 2 deliveries left. Can they get more than just that 2 that's projected? Well, it's a big quick one, and that's really, really good work by Delgado. That's exactly what he had to do. 1 delivery left after that, and you want Brian Zammit on strike. There's no doubt. He's on 55 off only 32 deliveries. And has an opportunity. He's really opened up his stance. I wonder where he's going to try and hit it. And well, he has hit it, and he's found a gap as well, once, twice, over the fence. He's picked up 4, didn't get the maximum, but got a boundary, and that is a fantastic innings by the big fella. 59 not out, carrying his bat through, and taking his team to a respectable score of 81 for the loss of just 4 wickets off their 10 overs. So very much an improved effort by the sloggers, and that should really make a match of it. Rugby CC will have to come out and chase down something much more formidable than previously. Let's have a look at some of the highlights. Well, Dave Barley got going straight away. He got one through the gate. He sent the opener, Christian Navas, back to the shed. Had a really was sure that was LBW. It was not given, and then he got another chance to take a wicket with that fine catch, and then picked up another one for himself, getting through the gate and rattling the timber. And then Brian, well, it became the Brian Zaman show really. That's probably the shot of the night. Just picking that one up short off the length and depositing it to the pavilion. He was ably supported. Well, it was a bit slippery. It was slipping and sliding away. This game was not sliding away from the Sloggers. They were staying right in it. And then with the very last ball, managed to achieve another boundary. This team to that great score, 81, but for the loss of the 4 wickets. And that will be what is in front of Rugby CC as they come out and they try to chase it. Let's have a look at the batting scorecard, which should be coming up any moment now. And will be really interesting to see if the Sloggers bowlers can maintain that fine work that eluded them in the previous match. They really need to back up what the batters have provided. They've given them something to defend, and so they will have a bit of a job in front of them, but certainly not an insurmountable one. There it is, the batting scorecard. And look at that, Brian Zaman at 59, not out, batting all the way through. Fantastic work. There was I think a few more sundries, so 10 sundries on that total, which is one aspect of the Sloggers game that they're going to have to stay on top of if they want to defend this total. They really, really need to just take care, pull as much on the offside as possible. As you can have a look there, only 3 wickets from the bowlers, and that one pretty remarkable run out. That is one of those ones that you see every couple of years or so. The batter hitting it back down the deck, the non-striker backing up, and the ball flicking the finger of the bowler in there. Follow through before going onto the stumps. That's how that run out was occurred. As it is though, that is the summary, and we'll see how it all pans out in a few short minutes as Rugby CC need 82 runs of their 10 overs. We'll have all that action for you after this short break. Until then, ciao for now. And a gushing and not so blustery welcome back to the Europa Sporting Complex here in Gibraltar. We're here for the final innings of tonight's play between Rugby CC and the Sloggers. The Sloggers, having put on 81 for the loss of 4 wickets in their 10 overs, have got something to defend indeed. And they'll be looking to be keeping it really tight to start with. They certainly have that one danger man. We are on the Ian Latin Millennium Watch. He needs 14 more runs to hit 1,000 runs in this series. Absolutely incredible effort. That's off 25 matches. So averaging around 45, which is just something else. So we'll be looking forward to see whether he comes out to open in his normal position or indeed comes out in at first drop. He's batted up, which doesn't tell us much. Rummaging through his bag, looking for the right gloves. So it's all set. You can see the wind has picked up a little bit. We've got the invisible bales back on. And that means that we've seen a couple of instances in previous matches where we can't have the bales on, where balls have gotten through the batters and jumped up, and you just wanted, one of those invisible bales tickled. It matters not. So, well, just as I say all that, the umpires have made the decision. No, they are going back on. So we disregard all of that. And I do feel it has picked up a little bit. The wind, it's nowhere near as bad as it was in the previous days though, that's for sure. And it's Dave Barley who is walking out to bat indeed with Ian Latin. So Latin will be on strike as we commence the Ian Latin Millennium Watch. Barley, very, very handy cricketer as well. These are the two, Latin the captain and Barley, real leader in this team as well. So they between them have decided to go out with big guns. Here we go, let's play some cricket. Oh, that's a great nut to start with. Really tempting the drive from Latin, and it's just moving it away from him. Very unlucky not to get an edge. It's almost too good a ball for an edge with that movement. Yeah. Big hello as always to everyone in the chat. And just remember, if you are sitting there watching and thinking, gee, I'm in my armchair and I'm a better cricketer than these guys, well, the fact is they're the ones out here putting their bodies on the line in the most trying conditions. We should all be very grateful. We get to watch some cricket in February in Europe. As we continue with Suarez, here he comes, and he's got it a little bit too straight that time, but not a really good length, so just defended away. Ian Latin Millennium Watch moves to 13. 13 runs needed. He got a real jaffer in the previous match, got bowled on 2, which you don't see too often. And that one, he's chipped it up in the air, but there's nobody there to affect the catch, so he just gets one more run. And the ILMW moves to 12 runs. As always, a big thank you to all our moderators on the chat. There's that one again, just chipped up a little bit, but into that wind, it's always going to hold up and not carry quite as far as you expect. Yeah, great work by all our moderators, and big hello to you, Amanda Hunley. It's been about a year since we've chatted, and I was thinking, is this Kitty Hunley's sister? But no, it's you, Kitty. Lovely to see you back here again as Latin uses those feet and then adjusts as Suarez puts it on a really really good line of length. And a little bit of a slow ball as well. So Latin paying it the respect it's due. He moves to 3, which brings our watch down to 11. And speaking of 11, we've had 11 matches without a golden ball. So could this be the match that we reset the counter? Tell us on the chat who you think is going to win. Whoever you are rooting for, I hope you're having a great time out there. Wherever you are around the world, tuning into cricket in Gibraltar as Bakari comes into the attack now. And Latin dances down the pitch with those spicy tango moves and takes it on the full to drive it out to the mid-on. Takes another single. ILMW moves to 10. 10 runs needed. 10 runs needed. That's all right. That's right, Kitty/Amanda. You forgot to tell me, but you are under no obligation. No problems at all. It's good to see you back here. As always, watching from the US. If I have got that correctly, with your husband. So good. What would it be there? It must be the morning where you are, the mid-afternoon perhaps. As this one's defended away on the offside, and they set off for another quick single. So a big hello as well to Mr. Kitty Hunley. Yeah, watching the ACN is winning. That's what we're doing. Is Latina drives that one or drags it away. Just another single. So they're going at a pretty moderate pace here at the moment. Yeah, they need 75 of 51. So, but you just know with these two out here, as the Ian Latin Millennium Watch moves to 9, and that's taking a bit of an edge, I think. Had it interrupt him on the pads, it would have been a decent shout. As it is, it's a dot ball. Did wrap him on the pads, but it was outside the line. So Dave Barley just wants to play a bit of a straighter bat to those ones. That's going to be a wide. Might be a bit of a run-out opportunity, but for the fact that the quick no comes up from Latin, sends his partner back to the crease. Should all be heading up over the coming days. The thing with this is if Rugby CC win this match, oh, and that would have been a run out as Dave Barley hustles to the other end. Hello, Mr. Kitty. It's a pleasure having you with us. And if Rugby CC do win this match, as we have a look at the standings there, then their superior run rate, net run rate, will take them back into second position. So after 2 overs with 10 runs on the board, they just have to achieve this target, and they will go to beds on this Valentine's Day with the deep and romantic love in their hearts of having superseded the Pirates once again in second position. I love how we've now suddenly got a new character in the chat. Mr. Kitty, it is. As another single is taken. So Ian Latin are back on strike now, facing Suarez, who bowled a really nice first over, only going for the 5 runs, which is a very good achievement in this format. So Latin dances down the pitch, and he might have gotten an edge there, but the ball just moving away from him a little bit. This next ball is just glance away down behind square, and what could be a run-out chance? Well, a bit of a boot thrown out. Have the ball, and apologies being made on the run. As the Ian Latina Millennium watch now moves to 9. It's 9 runs. No, 10 runs. Excuse me, I'll correct myself. He needs 8 runs. So that total is, well, there's half of them, but they go to Dave Barley because he has just splayed that through the covers with a fine cut shot. And that is tumbling away. That's gone all the way to the rope for 4. Yep, Rob, so Rob asking, did I see that right? They've played 26 times this one group. Indeed, this is for the Rugby CC, the 26th match in this series. It's been non-stop cricket for going on 3 weeks now. That's a straighter one and just punched away for another single, doing his job to get Dave Barley back onto strike. Excuse me, Latine back onto strike. Yeah, there's been a lot of cricket against each other, just the 4 teams in this tournament, so they're getting to know each other very well. You might say they're getting sick of the sight of each other, but they live in Gibraltar, so I'd say they see each other multiple times every day. As that is a beautiful drive straight down the ground, all timing, rolling along to the boundary for 4. The Ian Latine Millennium watch goes to 4. 4 runs needed. This could be a really close contest. PKK. So we have a look at the comparative urban development charts, and you can see that they've done really well, the Sloggers, to contain in those first 2 overs. And now these 2 with their eyes in and not having lost a wicket, even though they're out of the power play, so they've got more outfielders to contend with. They are probably hitting that stage now where the ball starts looking a little bit bigger. You can see at this stage the Sloggers indeed were 15 for 1. That was really before Brian Zammit started just going a little bit nuts, as he did on his way to a fine half century. So, Dave Barley gives the strike back, so Latin, 4 runs needed. He's got a little bit of an edge onto that, I feel. Oh, it could be a run-out chance. Yes, there's going to be. Both the batters are out there, and there's a little bit of showboating going on from Bakari. I'll tell you what, I think Bakari was doing Latin a favour there, because what happened is Dave Barley took the run. He ran past Ian Latin, and I just wonder if Latin just stayed put. And he thought it had gone past him, but it hadn't, and Barley kept running, thinking, you don't need another 4 runs. I need the strike. And then very, very selflessly, what Barley did is he saw that showboating going on, and he made sure to start wandering off. He thought, I'll give it to you, skipper. As it looks like Samarth Botta has come out, so this is wonderful to see. The youngster, he's a very important kind of young figure in Gibraltarian cricket, because he runs a lot of the youth camps. He's here every day with local kids, teaching them the ins and outs of cricket. So he's good to see him out there. Very fine bowler and very, very well-spoken man. And seeing him today with the kids, really a positive influence on the next generation of Gibraltarian cricketers. That one moves past the bat of Latin. Well, he's flirting with danger at the moment, because Bakari, he's got his sights on. He's feeling up and about. And we got that run out. And essentially, he's looking to stifle the dreams of the Latin master, who uses his feet again and just comes back. He might be getting a little bit nervous. Surely he knows. I think all cricketers know when they're coming in on milestones. There's a bit of chat going on YouTube, which is making me blush. It's very kind from all of you. We do find Australian accents around the world are a bit of a weapon. Doesn't matter what you say, it's just how you say it in the end. And so he's called a wide. Now Latin might be getting a bit caught up in his own head here because he is has this plan that, as he explained the other night, he wants to use his feet as much as possible, get to the pitch of the ball, and not try to overhit it. But he seems to be using the feet, but then also overhitting it. That time's a little bit better. He just rocks back on it and guides it down to kind of backward point / short third man position on the 45. We've got Chris Schinkel, sorry, in the chat. Heel Loke om jou te zien, Chris. Very nice to see you. A Netherlander. Yeah, well, we've got a bit of Netherlandish action happening here in Gibraltar next week because the Netherlands women's team will be coming down along with the Italian, Swedish and Gibraltarian women's teams to have the first ECIW, European Cricket International Women's Competition here at this very stadium. We'll be bringing you all that action in starting on the 20th, I believe. So as that fourth over comes to a close, 25 runs on the board. Oh, no, excuse me. Still one delivery to go. 26 runs on the board with one delivery left. There's going to be another one because that's a wide. Well left by Latin. Now I've lost track. He needs 3 runs. 3 runs. Nice bit of Dutch from you there, Johnny G. Hoe gaat het met jou, Chris? How's it going with you? Yeah, there's a fine tradition of cricket in the Netherlands. It'll be great to have the women's team down here as well. It's been playing cricket there. It's actually a theory that cricket does come from the Low Countries. It comes from an old game that the Weavers in Flanders used to play as the fourth over comes to a close. 2 runs off that last ball, so 30 for 1 it is. Yeah, there's a good theory that the word cricket comes from a conglomeration of Dutch words or a Dutch phrase, met de krikketsen, meaning to hit with a stick. Thought to maybe derive from a game played by Flemish weavers back as far as the 1300s. So a good tradition. So great to have you there, Chris. And Trip Denny just reminding everyone that he's now Mr. Kitty from now on. Mr. Kitty from the US, and it's 2:30. Just in case anyone was wondering, is Ian Latin. He's dabbed that one away on the onside and taken a single, which will bring the Ian Latin Millennium Watch to 2. 2 runs needed. Now they're pretty much on par now. The Sloggers had lost 1 more wicket than this, but they were both on 31. This stage, so it's on target, but the Sloggers doing a great job. Just to what they've done pretty well. There's been a couple of wides, but it hasn't been as much as previously, and that's something certainly they would have talked about before coming out in this innings. Yeah, Chris, aangenaam. Nice to meet you. So it's always good to get Dutchies involved. If you are wondering what I'm talking about, well, if you're just tuning in, you can check all this out on the European Cricket Network YouTube channel and get involved, subscribe, get in the chat. Not only here, but also the cricket going on in Malta. And then, of course, in 11 days, we have the ECL over there in Malaga, Champions League between 31 different clubs from all around Europe. That'll be super exciting as well. That's been well driven as well by Smart Boda, and he's really hustling to get to the other end. Wants to give his skipper the chance to knock these 2 runs off. Summit coming in now, and there's one of them. So we're on the verge, folks. We are on the verge of Ian Latine knocking off 1,000 runs in this series. He's not going to do it this over, unless of course there's a wide that they run for, or some such thing. Oh, and Smart Boda has a big hoik at it. The problem is that front foot just going in the wrong direction. So it's, that gives Ian Latine the chance, which is very exciting to be on strike for the beginning of the next over. So stay tuned, folks. It's we might see a landmark milestone here for certainly Gibraltarian cricket. And don't forget that with ECN in Malaga, what we've gone and done is gone and ordered 2 robot mascots. So that was a little bit of a passion project of Corey Rutgers and Vinny Sando. I'm sure they're getting on the AI train. I'm not sure if it's artificial intelligence. And certainly we've got those 2 robot mascots, so they should be a lot of fun over there in Cartmel. And Latine, he's going for it. Yes, he's pulled that one away, and he has achieved it. The Ian Latine Millennium Watch is over. He has scored 1,000 runs in this series. Absolutely sensational work. And there's some fairly warm applause coming from around the ground. I'm not sure if he's realizing himself he's got a job to focus on, but he has done it. So that was an absolute pleasure to watch. As Vayed Harajan continues with this his first over, and Latine giving himself a bit of room there, and they're going about this in a fairly sedate way. It's actually been a really good job by the Sloggers bowlers. They've met the challenge put to them by the batters. 45 runs needed off 27 balls, so that run rate is creeping up and up. It's currently 10 runs required per over as Smart Boda slaps it straight down the ground past the outstretched foot of Vayed Harajan. Some nice, desperate, committed fielding, putting the body on the line over there. It's, that was Suarez sliding in to help out his teammate. And this one should be pulled away. It's going to be given. Yes, he's played across the line. Bit of an angle bat, and the ball just slipping in under it, wrapping him on the pads, and the finger of doom has gone up. As the umpire says, Samath Boda, your role in this innings anyway is over, and you can exit stage left. Nice for the Sloggers as well. They are certainly making inroads. I'd say the pendulum's actually swung in their favour despite us getting caught up in the ILMW. They've actually been keeping it really, really tight, and Vayed Harajan has been no small part of that, picking up a wicket for all his hard work. So that will leave Ataloye Adetoya coming into bat. Adateo, excuse me. Just make sure I get my right vowel at the end of that. It's a great name, Adateo. And I do apologise to him if I've mispronounced it a couple of times, but since my last name is Wegasani and nobody can spell it or pronounce it, then all I can say is I feel his pain. Yeah. The Sloggers, it's a good call by you, Mr. Kitty. It's the Sloggers are looking like a bit of a different team here. They've really tightened up the reins. I think this man's been doing a great job at Adateo. He gets down on one knee and tries to breach the outfield, but nothing doing. There's Charlie Harrison mops it all up, and that brings the 6 over to a close. 40 runs for 2 wickets, and that means they really need to put the foot down. They need to find another couple of gears here. Otherwise, it is going to be the Sloggers taking this victory from an unlikely victory, one might say, given the previous match results. But it's been a much, much improved effort with both bat and ball. So now we've got coming into the attack, Timothy Rioch. Or as he's known to his mates, Boise. Here he comes, Boise. Gets one down the leg side, and Adateo just trying to give himself some room there. Got a little bit of a pickle. Yeah, the rate is going up and up, just under 11 runs and over needed now. And just saying, could be a little bit of cricket weariness setting in. They've been playing a lot of cricket, and all these things can come to pass with an innings like this. Just things not quite going your way. But I've got to say, you got to give credit to the Sloggers. They've been really, really vocal out in the field. They've been running and diving and committing themselves to stop everything they can. There's some good pickups and throws as well. And it's not that was going to be a close run out. It's just all about keeping pressure on the batters and making them work as hard as they can. So let's see, they'll be looking at Adateo to start going big now. And he's tried, but he's missed it, and he's been bowled. Can you believe it? Timothy Rioch, he absolutely loves that. Because Adateo, he was always going to go in one manner. And that manner didn't quite suit the delivery as it slipped between bat and pad, and just sort of angling in and then moving away a little bit. And he's pumped, absolutely pumped, as you would be. That is a great piece of bowling. That's really, in any form of cricket, but particularly this, shorter version where batters are going to be going big at certain times. They're going to be trying to hit it. And when you try to overhit the ball, you really lose the shape. And that makes you probably the most vulnerable to a good delivery, and that certainly was a good delivery. So if you put it on the stumps, as a bowler, any young bowlers out there, that's what you want to practice. Just being able to control your line of length before you worry about swing or spin or anything like that. Just getting that control and being able to direct the ball at the 3 sticks that are at the center of this whole game. The whole game is about one person trying to hit a couple of sticks with a ball while another person tries to defend the sticks with another stick. That is essentially cricket. So any youngsters out there, just practice that kind of control. As you can see, it's not too easy to do consistently, especially in trying conditions. As that will be wide. not over yet, but it's it is getting harder and harder. 11.4 runs per over required now. Latin gets a big top edge, it's flown up in the air, but it's found the gap and it's spinning and twisting and bustling over the rope for 4 runs. Ian Latin, he is going to do his absolute best. Actually came out off the bat a lot better than what I saw live. As it was smoked through the covers. Sticky sport, yeah, that's my description of cricket. Try and hit sticks with a ball, try and defend the sticks with another stick. Let's call it sticky sport. Well, it certainly is a sticky sport as it's stuck to all our hearts. Latin, a straight pull shot down the ground, takes him to the non-striker's end for the end of that over, which means he'll have a chance to continue in the next and talk about next. Well, the next set of matches we've got tomorrow will be this team, Rugby CC versus the top of the table Entertainers. It could be a preview of the final, but it all depends on really what happens. Not only this match, but in future matches. But if Rugby CC cannot put this one away, then they won't go into second position tonight. That all starts tomorrow, and the European Cricket Network. And we can't wait to bring you all that action as well as we start getting towards the pointy end of this series. Yeah, come on, Harry Pyle, be the spot that Latin needs. That's the call coming out from the rugby supporters. They had Araja comes back in. It is getting interesting. Well, so a little bit. It's effectively 3 overs to go. 32 runs needed. It's no easy going by any stretch. But if a couple of boundaries are achieved, such as what Latin is going for here. He won't make it though. The sweeper comes around, cuts it off. He's coming back for the second. There's been a mix-up because they're both at one end. The ball is thrown into the bowler, and they're going to get an even extra one. No, they don't go for it. Could have been buzzers, but they decide to take the finger off the buzzer and keep it to just the 2. So Latin, he moves to 23, and that means they need 30 runs. 17 deliveries. Oh, Latin's picked that up, and away. Get it a passport. It's gone travelling. That was a beautifully picked up swat. He's just basically chipped that over the infield, over the outfield, over the umpire's head. He looks unimpressed. Looks unimpressed, not looks unimpressed. And Latin, well, that's what they needed. 24 runs now off 16 balls. Is there a tingle? Is there a tingle indeed? He might be feeling it all the way over there in Malta, the famous Vinny Sandhu golden ball tingle. As Latin punches that off the back foot, but there is protection in the covers. He's midfield though. They're going to go for the second. Well, Latin was looking for it, but Pyle, he had his back turned. He hasn't faced a delivery yet. So he might be feeling, look, I know you've got 1,000 runs in this series, but I wouldn't mind 1 or 2 myself. To Latin, who's at the non-striker's end. Here's Vahad Haraja to Pyle, who square drives it to get his skipper back on strike. No, but they've got to get extras. The throw comes back in, and well done by Christian Barbaro. It was a very laconic sort of attempt to stop the ball with the one glove, but he, achieved it. That's all that matters. That's driven straight. Harry Pyle, beautiful shot, straight down the ground. They're going to come back for the second. Latin wants it. I'll tell you what, you're both quick runners and you need runs, and I think at this stage you've got enough wickets in hand, rugby, to go for those second runs. Yeah, it does seem like Latin does. I'd be really curious to know whether he was aware of exactly what he needed. He skied the ball. It's been beautifully taken. Wonderful catch. Suarez out there. He had to get down low, but he made it in fine form and managed to clasp onto a really, really difficult catch. And Vahid Haraja has managed to get the usually indefatigable Ian Latin out. It's an impressive innings. He comes off having made 1,000 runs. You can hear the applause coming in. Sure, some of it might have been coming from me, but I wasn't the only one. As the 7th over comes to a close. And really fantastic catch in the outfield. Might have just changed the complexion of this match. Well, because the danger man's gone and now it's essentially a fresh pair out there because Harry Pyle, he's been out there for a while. He's only faced 2 balls. So he's been joined now by John Matthews. So now it's up to Harry Pyle to become the aggressor. It did seem like Latin did get some monkey off his back, which is how it was called in the chat. And Johnny G. Well, I want to direct Rico Full to that. Maybe it should be an ape off his back, since we are in Gibraltar and we've got, of course, those lovely Burberry apes up there on the rock. The only apes on the European continent live here, and so he did have the ape off his back, but as it was, he is now back in the shed and can do nothing more than sit and see whether these two can achieve the 19 runs needed in 11 balls to take a second victory for tonight. Well, they can't do it in singles, that's for sure, but it's been some good tight bowling. So, yeah, John Matthews now. Oh no, it's still Harry Pyle on strike, so we got 2 for that. So indeed, he'll be looking to pile on the runs. Short one, and he slaps it away. It's not going to make the outfield though. There's a very good decision that was made there, and some quick running, really excellent running to make it back to the 2. That's exactly what they have to do. Basically, anything that goes past the infield, just go for 2. Because you've got to keep yourself in it. And dot ball is not going to help matters, that's for sure. Just trying to see who that was. I think it was Damien Delgado who did some fine work there. And it's a big thing when you're standing on the outfield in this format. Such a difference between, a dot ball is such an effective thing. A 1 is so much more significantly better for your team than a boundary. And when you're in the outfield in the sky, the temptation's to run in and try to take the catch, but you've got to make a decision whether to just defend. And you did that really well. There's that one exactly exhibits the case, and I really like the running from these 2. Yeah, and they're looking for the 3rd, but watch out behind you, Harry Pyle. There's a man lurking, waiting for you to go for the extra. So 2 more runs off that. It should bring them within striking range. And that's certainly the case. They're within striking range, so a boundary will certainly change the complexion of this completely. That's what he's going for, but once again, and they're coming back for the 2. Again, great running, and it was a nice attempt by Christian Barbara, but I think he was safe. Just from initial live action, looking from the stands. But they seem pretty convinced. The umpire's gone upstairs. There was some nice work out there. Might have even been Christian Navas. Let's have a look. Oh, he's gone. He's going to be gone here, I think. That ball, excellent work. Yeah, he is. Well, I'm going to have to go to the eye doctor. That's the way I saw it looked like a different matter, but that is another wicket. So that was really a great little partnership actually for this time, because what they were doing is just running hard for twos. And it's just to keep the pressure on, but a fantastic response once again from the Sloggers. Who is this team? Where did they come from? What have they done with the Sloggers? Who cares? Let's keep them out here on the match. This is the team we want to watch, because they have batted well, they've bowled well, and they've fielded well. And with all those three aspects of cricket being well achieved, they are certainly in this game. Now it's at the end of the ninth over, 75, so 12 runs needed to a ball. That's the equation. Yeah, it was Christian Navas lurking out there who managed to achieve that run out. And exactly what that last pair were doing, running to every ball. All they need to do is pretty much that. If they can't achieve a boundary, it's going to be now. That man, yeah, Brian Zammit, came out and made a very nice half-century. He's been given the task of bowling the last over, and this is a good move because he is a usually pretty tidy bowler, and he's quite dangerous as well. Really darts it in, can turn it away as well. So let's see. See what he's got. He's Chowdhury, the new batsman, facing, and he's put it right on the money to start with. There's a bit of cricket ball, it's been skied. They're going to go for the two, they have to. They don't, and it was a smart move in the end because it would have been run out. But that's exactly why Zammit's come in. Already bowled the one over and only gone for 4 to go with his half-century, and say he's on track for a man of match performance if he can pull this off, but a wicket certainly would not do those chances any damage. As slapped away to point and fielded, and that brings the equation to 10 runs needed off 4 balls. It is getting close. Do you have a tingle? Kitty Huntley, you've changed your name back. She doesn't think she has a tingle. It might be having a heart attack. I hope not. At least Mr. Kitty's over there looking out for you as well. Unless he's also in the throngs of suspense as they do run back for 2 and they make it safely this time with that drive out to the offside. Oof. 8 runs needed off 3 balls. It's just 2 shots. Zammit man. Zammit man. Let's get a wicket, Zammit man. And he's really attacking the body. But very, very good job by John Matthews to get something onto that, but he has been run out. It's Chowdhury, actually, who's been run out, and you know, they had to do that, had to be going for the second, certainly, and might have just languished a little bit in that first run, needed to run harder, tried to make up all the lost ground on that second run, but the throw in was good. And that means the wicket falls, so it's the Sloggers once again wresting ascendancy back from the Rugby CC, who with every little partnership is having a bit of a flourish, and that's a great thing to see as well from Rugby. They haven't just relied solely on one person, but they're all chipping in with a team plan. They seem to know what they're doing when they get out there, which is to, you know, find the gaps and just run the twos. But it won't be enough now. Let's say a big boundary, well, a 6 would certainly change matters here. There is no doubt about that. That would bring it to a draw. And then the golden ball would really be on. Let's see what Zammit can do. It's been driven up over his head. They're going to run for the 2. The fielder's coming in from mid-on. The good running from the non-striker's end. And a fantastic piece of goalkeeping there by Christian Barbara. He saw the buzzers coming and he slid on in. Managed to save it with his pads. It was actually like a football tackle. Whew, so that leaves it at 7 runs needed. No, 5 runs needed. 5 runs needed off 1 ball. So it's unlikely to be a golden ball unless what can we get here? A 4 basically. If they hit a 4, then it's going to be a golden ball. Oh, it's a great piece of bowling, Zamet, and he's won the match, not only with the bat, but at the very, very end with the ball. They've pulled off an unlikely victory. Can you believe it? The Sloggers, well, they went down hard in the first match, but they came back just as hard in this one, managing to really take it up to the Rugby CC. They put on a good total, 81. It's not the highest total ever, but it's certainly not the lowest total. And what it meant was that they had something to defend, and in the end, it was just enough. And Brian Zamet taking the responsibility with the final ball and really not getting anything wide of the mark, not bowling any extras, as we have a look at the highlights reel here. And for the first while, we were a little bit distracted. It was the Ian Latin Millennium Watch. And as we were doing that, well, what the Rugby CC were doing, were dancing all over the wickets and taking wickets. And they just kept falling and falling. And it looked like Rugby CC were really falling behind the mark. And then suddenly they started to get the idea that you can't be dealing in singles, especially when that man Adateo, he went out. He was their last big hitter. So it became Latin's responsibility, but unfortunately he holed out to that fantastic low-down catch in the outfield. Suarez getting down and keeping his eye on the ball and clasping onto it. And just really, really great fielding by the Sloggers. They hit all 3 aspects of the game. They really did very well, very, very well. And as a result, they have achieved what I won't describe as a famous victory, but certainly a great victory in the context of this series. They have managed to hold off Rugby CC from retaking the 2nd position, and really have made it a good equal night of cricket. What a lovely night that we've had to watch the wares of these Gibraltarian cricketers. We can have a look at the batting scorecard there, as then the bowling card will come up, and that will tell you the story that it wasn't about taking wickets with the ball so much. 3 of them falling, 2 to Vahid Haraja, and then Rioch also chipping in with 1. But they were all pretty economical. None of them going for over 10 runs and over. And it was the fielding that was the really important aspect to it. And so a wonderful, wonderful result as the Sloggers beat Rugby CC by 3 runs. Can you believe it? And so that's the end of tonight's cricket here in Gibraltar, and it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you all the action. I'm a little bit out of breath. We thought the golden ball might be coming. They needed 4 off that final delivery, and then Brian Zamet managing to dart one in past the bat and get the dot ball and the victory. And what a display. It just goes to show that it's all pretty even Stevens here in Gibraltar. On their day, any team can win. I'm Joe Wegasani. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone on the YouTube chat have absolutely loved your work tonight, as well as all those whose voices we haven't heard, but whose spirits and love of cricket is certainly shining through as you watch this broadcast from the Europa Sports Complex. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night, and until next time, ciao for now.
Share your passion for riding flag with the world. Cricketers, here be cricketers. Time to cheer and show the world what you got.
Another one, that's the big one. That's gone all the way over into the clubhouse and ordering a pint at the bar.
Hundreds of clubs all over Europe are coming together today. Thousands of cricketers want to be stars, show their talents when they play. We've got commentary, action-packed cricket frenzy. You're hooked, you can't deny. Worldwide audience watching to see which team will lift the cup up high. Oh, cricketers, here be cricketers. Share your passion for riding flag with the world. Cricketers, here be cricketers. Time to cheer and show the world what you got. La
he goes. He sent that pack in. But the shaka. 6-4.
Oh, cricketers, European cricketers, share your passion for riding flag with the world. Cricketers, European cricketers, time to cheer and show the world what you got. Time to cheer and show the world what you got. Time to cheer and show the world what you
Mentioned
got.
turbo earlier, that's supercharged. 6 runs, that's going into orbit. It's another Kookaburra ball that's going to be circling our planet for years to come. So a ball, but he's picked that up beautifully. He's setting it all.